what's up, everybody? Welcome to another live episode of Game Time here on the Outlaw Nation channel. I am the Outlaw John Rocha, joined as always by the man over there, the king of swag, Winston A. Marshall. How are you, dude?
Getting used to being back to one monitor. A homie of mine didn't need her second one, so I've been borrowing it so I can spread shit out. And then she was like, I got a big job. Bring my shit back. And I was like, oh, no, but why?
You're like, you were the Oracle, and then you got downgraded from
Bro, I'm out here feeling like Ned. I'm the guy in the chair. Like, let's fucking go. And now I'm just like, I got to fit it all in this tiny-ass little piece of shit.
Yeah, man, it happens. Listen, last night, I tried to do something where I was doing a live Twitch watch along with the Super Bowl, and then I recorded trailer reactions on a StreamYard while my Twitch was going. So I was balancing with one computer, and the lag on that was insane, bro. Never doing that again. One computer, get a second monitor. That's the smarter. So I feel you. I feel you to a degree of going back down to one monitor for sure. But we are here to talk about so much going on in the world of sports. Thank you all so much for joining us live. We're going to go about an hour. It's just me and Winston hanging out, talking about the Super Bowl, little NBA news as well. Appreciate you all joining us live. Please remember, before we get forward, hit a like on this video. If you're watching it later, a lot of you do, leave a comment as well. Likes and comments help the visibility of this show. And if you want to send in some support, and I'd appreciate it, some Streamlabs super chats, so I can send this man a little bit of money for hanging out with us today, send it in through the Streamlabs. I'm going to pin it in the chat. It is there on the screen and in the description of this video. We're going to get into all of this as we go forward. So ready, set, go. Winston, the Super Bowl happened yesterday in SoFi. What a game here. It was tight. It was tough. It was a gutsy victory by the Rams, 23-20, after a 79-yard touchdown drive with a pass ending appropriately enough to Cooper Kupp to win this damn thing with 1 minute and 25 seconds left. And Aaron Donald and Von Miller coming through on that last drive to stop Joey Franchise, who's still almost Patrick Mahomes himself, a reception, a completed pass to Perrine on the corner there. But in the end, the Rams took care of business there, led by Matt Stafford, who did throw 2 interceptions, but 3 touchdowns. Looking back on this Super Bowl now, we're less than 24 hours after it was over. What's your feeling about it? What's your reaction about both of these teams and how this all went down there in SoFi?
There's so many storylines, and I know we'll get to all of them, or as many as we can. I didn't really have a horse in this race, even though I've been in Angelino for a minute. I'm a diehard Cowboys fan. I would support my home team, so I really don't care about the Rams like that. There's some folks here that really do. Like my mom was born and raised here, and so for someone who doesn't watch sports ever, unless all of a sudden one of her teams is in a semifinal, then she goes, "How about my Lakers?" I'm like, the Lakers you ain't talked about for 360 days, like.
That's how LA is, man.
There's a decent number of people in LA that do that. So I wasn't necessarily, I found myself honestly rooting for the Bengals, and because of the story. Knowing they hadn't won a playoff game in 31 years, and that this would have been not just a playoff win, but then to have gone the full distance in that first playoff win to win a Super Bowl would have been huge. Joey Burrow as like his second year in the league, born in Ohio, near Cincinnati, but born in Ohio, to one of the few people, he would have been Joe Cool 3, as they said it during a promo, where the only people to go out there and win a title and then turn around and come win a Super Bowl, Namath and Montana, both Joes. So that would have been super cool to see that. And it's not to say that it's not to say he won't do it later.
Right.
But I was really invested in that storyline, man, and especially because the Rams being as stacked as they are, it was a true underdog story to see if they could pull it off. But I do think it's not like marred the way that some of the other games the Rams have been a part of in order to get to Super Bowls in the past, like the no pass interference call against the Saints years ago.
Right.
But there were some questionable calls in the way that this game ended. You did have the missed call at the start of the second half with the head turn on Ramsey. It was a huge missed call, but you can tell where the line judge was. He was kind of looking at the ball coming and didn't see it. So that's a whole other conversation. I sort of understand makeup calls. Honestly, I but not 5, 6, 7, 8 makeup calls or no calls. You know what I mean? And I look at that 3rd and goal where it very clearly is an entire offensive line false start, and they get the free play, because then that play comes with a holding
right
on the defensive side. The play should have never gone, but you end up with a holding, which then puts them at 1st and goal on the 1 yard line. And that changes a lot of the course of what happens over the next 4 to 5 minutes left in the game, or wherever time we were at that particular point. So it's like the Rams still earned it. Joey Burrow did have a chance to kind of come back, and Donald got in his ass and all that. I don't love it when the officiating has that much of an impact on a game.
Okay.
If you're going to let him play, then let him play. And if not, because that holding call on 3rd and goal, that was some ticky-tack shit. That was not a good holding call, personally.
Right. That didn't look like a hold to me. It looked like if anything, it looked like he crashed into him a little bit early, but usually they don't call that kind of stuff in the regular course of the game. I hear what you're saying immediately, and I understood that. And then there was the 2 offsetting penalties on that whole situation that really helped the Rams out as well. So, there were some incidences there, but they got into that position for something like that to happen. And this is the thing: if you want to win a Super Bowl, you gotta step up when the moment is calling for you to step up. And certainly the Cincinnati Bengals defense didn't, by letting them get that close. And then the Rams defense did by stopping Joey Burrow when he had a minute and a half to bring that team down there. And they had a great kickoff return. They only had to go 30 to 40 yards, man, to get McPherson in position to kick that kick. So, the refs, it's an unfortunate situation. You can look at some of those calls and have some questions for sure. It was not you would argue it wasn't a great or well officiated game, because both sides could have complaints for sure. Because you could argue the momentum swing of that touchdown right off the bat to start the second half, and then the interception by Stafford right afterwards. You could have looked at Cincinnati becoming this juggernaut, but the Rams defense was able to hold it out. And this is why you go and get people like Von Miller and go and get Eric Weddle out of retirement. You go and get the people who have been there to give some kind of veteran leadership and steady the ship and calm everybody down, and eventually let Aaron Donald step up to the plate and take care of business. But dude, it was there for the Bengals to win, man. Joey Burrow didn't look like he was overwhelmed by the moment at all.
Not at all. He looked serious as shit the whole time. They would cut him on the bench. He'd be like,
"Yep."
I was like, bro, this kid is something special. And people are saying that he also has that Tom Brady work ethic. People have seen him where he will just be in the gym, or he'll be running drills when everybody else would have been like, it's done, I'm going home. He's either there, or he's the first one there by a lot and the last one there by a lot. And that says so much about, and you saw it in his gameplay. I think he's only going to get better, and God help all of the AFC North the minute they decide to get him an O-line, because they were running on fumes.
Because we've seen now for the last 3 seasons, we've seen Mahomes over the last 2 seasons get rattled. We've seen Josh Allen fight to the end, but not quite be able to get over that hump. We've seen Lamar Jackson fall down in the playoffs. We've seen these other quarterbacks in the AFC not get it done. Joe Burrow feels like the next coming of Tom Brady, and that should scare everybody. You're absolutely right, Winston. Me and you, we've watched football for decades now. We know when when you see it in a player's eyes. And Joey Burrow never looked overwhelmed, never looked like he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, like the moment was too big for him. He was very relaxed on the sideline, even after the injury, just staring out on the field, willing his body to feel better so he could go back out there, because he wasn't going to trust it to the backup, and had an opportunity here to kind of take. And the thing is, he could have torn that ACL the way he went down. That was nasty injury here. And still found his way to keep willing this team forward, and almost got it done there with that pass to Pariah.
Dude, I got so scared when he went down, because that was the other thing. And I had a long discussion with my buddy after the game about them really needing to look at going back to grass. There's a lot of players that have talked about the AstroTurf is just so much more brutal on the body. You look at how OBJ went down, and I heard that they confirmed it was a re-tearing of the same ACL.
Mm-hmm.
That no contact, and it's because it's just so much like terse. They said, like, scientifically they have a number. It's like 27 or 28% more likely to have non-contact injuries on turf. So they really got to look at trying to do that. You make billions a year. I know grass costs a lot of money to like maintain. You make billions a year
SoFi
as an organization.
exactly.
You can figure it out.
You can play Aaron Donald and Von Miller and OBJ. You can absorb those contracts. You got enough money to handle the field. And Winston, you and I know as NFC East guys, we've seen Giant Stadium with that AstroTurf in the past. We've seen Veterans Stadium with that horrible AstroTurf in the past. So we know the injuries that can happen on that. I think that should be outlawed in the NFL. They should anywhere. They should never have AstroTurf, and not even on a practice field. It should never be allowed because that's essentially concrete with just 6-inch of mat above the concrete. That is ridiculous. And you lose like a premier receiver like OBJ to an injury like that when this could have been such a crowning moment for him. And yes, he did get the ring. He won it. He got a touchdown. But at least been a real game changer in that second half.
Yeah. I like, to be honest with you, I do not think this game would have been as close if OBJ had still been around.
Agreed.
Because Eli, I want to talk about my favorite storyline is Eli Apple. Because I'm sure you remember he decided to run his mouth when he was over with Cincinnati, talking about, I don't know which city I hate more, New York or New Orleans. And then you had Giants and Giants fans and Saints fans being like, look, little bitch, when you were here, you were pathetic. Don't you even come in here with all that noise. And then, of course, Eli Apple, when needed to show up against Cooper Kupp and all this stuff, was getting toasted, bro. And some of the memes that came out of it was so fucking
Here's Winston's favorite meme.
Oh my God, it destroyed me. So if you see there, that's all of the Bengals' success. Everybody on the team with their hands on it, except for Eli Apple's ass, pretending to be a part of that success. He ain't cut none of that. He ain't got nothing to do with that shit. That meme fucking got me. I loved it so much.
Oh, that meme was great. That meme was fantastic. Oh my God, that meme was fantastic. Oh, that was hilarious.
So it was one of those things, man. And you have to give so much credit to the Bengals defense.
Yes.
They stopped the run game. That was absolutely phenomenal. That is absolutely phenomenal to see what they did to stop that run game and really make them do it. I see some people in here saying that they think Cooper Kupp is the best wide receiver in the game. As far as this season, he was definitely the best wide receiver in the game. Yeah. But if you were to ask me right now, you were like, you're starting your franchise. You get to pick an A1 receiver. Who do you want to be like the leader of your receiving core? I've got at least 4 or 5 dudes I take before him. And it's not because Cooper Kupp isn't good at all. He's phenomenal. There's some intangible shit that Cooper Kupp is still fast and he's crisp on his routes and he's really smart. But bro, if you could give me like someone like a DK Metcalf, if he wasn't being a diva, DK's just body is insane. Or like the way Julio Jones when he was in his prime, because he's so fucking tall, so he could run those routes on you, but he also could just go, I'm just going to burn you now and just go. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing that I would say about that, but I'm not going to knock the man for what he just did. The most yards by a receiver, like in the season and postseason, like he did unreal fucking things and he deserves that MVP. I would have maybe given it to Donald though. That's the only thing I would say, Donald? But I may have given it to Donald.
I hear what you're saying. I just think Donald was bottled up for a majority of the game. They did get 7 sacks on him, but I think Donald only got 1, and that was that one near the end or a couple of hurries because they were double teaming Donald a majority of the time. So he was having a tough time getting in there. There's no way they win that game without Cooper Kupp in the second half. After OBJ goes down, I mean, Cooper even does that 4th and 1. Remember that run across the sideline and darts in? So without him, there's no effing way. Like him and Stafford all of a sudden found the rhythm in that final drive. After it looked, because that other receiver, they're probably going to let him go today, if not last night. The one who was responsible for the second interception. Yeah. That guy did not understand how to play NFL football at all. He looked completely lost throughout. So really, he had Cooper Kupp pretty much as his only receiver because even Van Jefferson wasn't getting that open and wasn't able to pull away from that secondary because the Bengals defense was great last night. Absolutely great last night, except for Apple, of course. But yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
No. Well, and Bruce said it up top, like about you double team Coop and let somebody else beat you because guess what? Yeah. All the other Rams receivers were trash the minute OBJ
They were terrible.
They were a practical non-factor.
Yeah.
So you put 2 bodies on Kupp and then you let them figure it out otherwise.
Yeah.
Send Eli Apple to one of them other scrub ass receivers and let somebody else and like double cover. So you got to do that. And so all of that being said, and I see another comment saying, they used to say that until Antonio about bigger receivers versus Antonio Brown. Doesn't matter if you have production. Again, Cooper Kupp, in my opinion, best receiver this season, and I would still put him like in a top 5, if not 6. You know what I'm saying? But you can get people with that similar production. Part of it too is that relationship. Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp, the minute Stafford got there, they were getting lunch every day, doing all sorts of stuff like that. You see the same thing with Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams and stuff like that. If you can get somebody, Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes, if you can get somebody with all the skills of Kupp, but then like the body of a DK, dude, you're literally that's a I don't know if you watch Dragon Ball Z, John, but that's a fusion, my guy. You're out here making a super warrior in this bitch. That's all I'm saying.
And I'll say with Aaron Donald here, I mean, Aaron Donald had four tackles, but 3 and 2 sacks, right? And 2 for loss, of course, because there are sacks here, and 3 solo tackles, but he wasn't even leading his team. He's like 8th or 9th on the list behind Eric Weddle, who was fighting through a torn pectoral muscle to play. So they knew the guy they had to target was Aaron Donald, but he eventually wore them down, especially on that last drive to stop Burrow and the Bengals. But you look at the running game, Cam Akers, they wanted to establish the running game. That was very clear from the beginning. They wanted to slow the pace down. They wanted to keep the ball out of Joe Burrow's hands, but that front line of the Bengals would not let them do it. Cam ran 13 times for only 21 yards. That tells you that a bunch of men showed up and decided they were going to shut that shit down. And then when the OBJ injury happened, it looked like the Bengals were on their way to win this Super Bowl because they were going to be able to shut down this Rams defense. And when Stafford threw that second interception, it really, and then started over. And they had 2 or 3 drives there where they went 3 and out, or 4 or 5 plays and out, or 6 plays and out, and they couldn't get going, man. So it looked like the Bengals could have gotten this game, but they couldn't get it done against the Rams defense too. For as much as we want to praise the Bengals defense, the Rams defense showed up in that second half to stop the momentum of the Bengals.
The Rams have probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, D lines in like history, or just rush game in general. Because you added Von Miller, so maybe he's not on the line, but adding him in there is just insane. I see some debates back and forth between Kupp and Donald, and while I totally understand with Kupp in that regard, I think the reason why you give it to Donald is I believe the 2 sacks he had both happened in that final drive.
Critical.
And they literally, the very last sack is what saved the game.
Yeah,
they were rolling up the field at that point, not like super fast, but they were getting up there, and they could have gotten the field goal. They were. Because they were on the 50.
Yeah,
so they only needed 15 yards. That's it, and then you're within field goal range. Now we're going to OT. So like, I still get it because you needed the points. You needed Kupp to do something because nobody else was on that offense doing anything at all.
Right.
But that was the thing. Kupp, minus a few receptions prior to that drive, was kind of quiet. Like they were doing a pretty decent job of maybe keeping that double coverage, but it's also because McVay kept attempting to rush, and that kept backfiring. I honestly think that what was cool to see though with Kupp and Donald is that they're definitely the 2 best players on the team. Watch both of those superstars go off when it was time was kind of phenomenal. To see Kupp go, you need some points, I'm gonna get you them points. To see Donald go, we need to stop, we're ending this. We are ending this right now.
It was very similar to what they did to the 49ers. When Jimmy G was about to drive down, it was Von Miller who got in there and shut Jimmy G down. He was winging some crazy 4th down pass. That's what they did throughout this playoffs, really step up. And Matt, I mean, you don't want 23 minutes into the show, 20 minutes into the show, we haven't mentioned Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford deserves a lot of credit here too. I mean, he was knocked down, the 2 interceptions. It's about what you do. And he had an injury himself. He was working through an injury himself. And so it's what you do when you're called upon, when the chips are down, you're not having the prettiest game. Can you gut it out? Can you grit it out and find a way to win the game? And certainly he did that. I mean, for all the catches that Cooper made, if Stafford wasn't throwing them in the perfect spots for Cooper to catch them, then there wouldn't be a conversation about the Rams winning the game today. So he was able to get the job done. Shout out to him. And McVay and the general manager there over the Rams look like geniuses for dropping Goff, because immediately the next year they are Super Bowl champions from making that move. So pretty incredible.
What did I say the whole time we've been doing this show about Jared Goff? Goddamn it! I said the only thing stopping the Rams is their quarterback play. Now, mind you, they need to go back to the drawing board with the run game. I know that there was a major injury. I mean, who's injured this season? That they
Cam Akers, or at the beginning of the game, at the beginning of the season. You mean for the Rams?
Yeah. Was it just Akers?
It was Akers this earlier in the year, and then he came back in the last couple of games to kind of get back in rhythm. Yeah.
And Akers is not bad, but man, I mean, his fumble problems throughout the playoffs and whatnot, and he's not putting up like a lot of these elite running backs and whatnot. So you either need to figure out something by committee that genuinely works. I know you tried to get Sony Michel in there with his experience to help out with that, but they have got to go back to the drawing board with the run game, because that right now, other than pending contracts and retirements, if they want to run it back, they probably could. They would have a good shot. I would say they'd have a very good shot to do that. But you have to fix that running game, man.
Yeah, I agree with you. What do you? I don't know if the Bengals need to do anything. I mean, their defense is only going to get more experienced from this run. Their Mixon looked like he was ready to play yesterday. He led all receivers. I think he had 72 yards. Joe Burrow is only going to get better from this. Now you've got Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase, who's is going to come back from that injury. So just they to me, they look completely set. Maybe they can go grab a couple of free agents. Whereas the Rams look like the Florida Marlins, buying all the talent up, winning the title, and then they're going to sell everybody off because they're on their tail end. Aaron Donald might retire.
Oh, damn.
Certainly. And then Von Miller might go. I mean, he's got 2 Super Bowls. What more does Von Miller need to prove? Weddle is already retired again. He already said that after the game. How much of them are going to be left? And you're right about this with the running game. And Stafford's 1 knee injury away from being done for the rest of his career. So
that's true. Yeah. You brought up so many things that are just kind of so the Bengals, they need 2 things. We talked about this earlier. They need an O-line. They need an O-line. They have got to fix some of those problems because the fact that Joe Burrow, he got sacked
7 times.
7 times this game.
Super Bowl record.
That means 19 sacks in the last 3 games.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I am surprised this kid was still up and like chucking balls, bro. I would have been like, nah, I quit. Fuck, you already paid me a couple mil. I'm gonna be a low millionaire, and I'm calling it a career, bitch. 19 times in 3 days on the job. You gonna let people touch me? Fuck you. So that would be the first thing. The second thing is corners. Eli Apple proved that, man. They have got to. You don't necessarily need to go get like the top of the top, but you need somebody that's not going to be that much of a liability.
Absolutely.
So those are the 2 things they got to work on. The Rams, it's so funny with Weddle. My buddy was telling me that Weddle retired. But he's a really athletic guy. And so he was like training for a triathlon. And the first thing that happened when one of the homies called him because they needed someone to come in, they go, "Hey, man, what you doing?" It's like, "Oh, nothing." He's like, "You fat?" Nah, dog. Like, I'm getting ready for the triathlon. I was like, "All right, we need you, man. Come get this ring." And he was like, "All right."
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine I call you, Rocha, and I'm like, for like the schmo on the ship, I'm like, "Hey, what you doing?"
Let's hang it out. What's up?
Hey, man, you got Alzheimer's yet?
It's something I remember. Shit.
Then bring your ass. We need to come win this chip, dog. Like, can you imagine that?
and Weddle got to get revenge on the Chargers because he set the Chargers on blast, the owner on blast for them not believing in him and him now getting a Super Bowl ring. So I mean. Not only that, he got 2 years out of retirement and got to get his revenge eventually.
Yes, he did.
People, don't fight for your revenge. It'll be there if you live a good life. The moment will present itself, and then you'll get to say your piece. It's always best to wait until the universe gives you that revenge. If you're living right, it'll give it to you, and then you can enjoy it just like Weddle did for sure. I do want to bring one thing up, and we'd be remiss not to, Winston, considering the kind of show we do here on Game Time. But we have got to talk about my man over here in the flip-flops and the sands. We got to talk about Vernon Hargreaves. Winston, talk to me about the worst penalty.
Oh, my God. You think he's off the team already, bro? The funny thing is
they
after
put him on the
penalty,
Jets. This meme puts him on the Jets.
Bro, after that penalty, they cut back to him on the bench, sad as fuck. Like he was out here like, damn.
What are you doing? Like, what are you doing, Winston? I mean, what? Dude. This isn't a you're not playing in a rec league. This is the Super Bowl, man.
Dude, my mind was blown. And then the funny thing about it right after was I guarantee you somebody, like, all of a sudden the phone that like rings from upstairs, Janine saying, yo, who cousin this is? Yo, I guarantee you the phone that's supposed to be for the coaches up top, it rang. And they were like, hey, man, it's for you, dog. And he picked it up. And all of a sudden, it was his mama talking about, boy, what the hell you doing out here ruining the goddamn Super Bowl chance? If you don't sit your little narrow ass down, I swear to God, if they score again and I see your ass on that field, I'm going to come down there and beat your ass. Coach ain't going to have to do nothing. Like, I guarantee you he got his mama cussing him out in the middle of that game over that.
I'm telling you, there's no way. I mean, there's no way Roger Goodell didn't see that and go, See what I'm talking about? It's like, what? I mean, it was ridiculous, him running down. I mean, and they've put him on all kinds of memes now. I don't want to play them all, but you're right. I mean,
Play me one. I haven't seen them all. Play me one. I'm so curious, man. Because that's you know what that is right there? That's essentially like you're the dude that, like, you're like the bus driver for Kendrick Lamar, and Kendrick Lamar wins a Grammy, and your ass come run on the stage. Hell yeah, we did it, dog. We did it. Nigga, what the fuck is you doing up here? Your ass supposed to be watching the bus.
The Bengals locker room after the game.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, that's awful. That's awful. Oh man.
Anyway. Yeah, this one. I'm helping.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. I guarantee you that was right after the phone call. His mama called right before that. I promise you.
I'm sorry. I mean, you don't want to hate, but, like, don't put yourself in that position, man. Don't be stupid like that.
I get it. It's the Super Bowl. I get it. It's the Super Bowl. You were there with the team until you got hurt doing the damn thing. But again, man, act like you've been there before, bruh.
Yeah.
Go celebrate with Coach. I bet you Coach out here doing the damn thing too. You can't do that.
Like this, Robert. If you're wearing slides, stay on the sidelines, Ella.
You're wearing slides, stay on the side. Like, I love it. I love it.
Imagine if LT or Ray Lewis saw that fool do that as a teammate.
Bro.
Ray would.
Bro.
Wow, I don't want to say what Ray would do.
Oh my God. No, and JMB saying it sounds like I may have gotten cussed out like that myself. It was awfully specific. Look, man, we don't talk about things that we ain't supposed to, ever relive, that we have made a repressed memory. We just keep that shoved down and we don't talk about it, man.
We don't talk about Winston. No.
Oh my God, man!
Normally, someone caught a 2-piece in that locker room.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
Haskell saying, I saw on Sean McVay giving the game ball to Eli Apple as someone edited him into the locker room pick.
I mean, so kind of what happened when Peyton won his first ring, where I was like, yo, the real MVP was 1,000%. Rex Grossman. Rex Grossman was the MVP of the Colts that year, bro. Like, I'll never forget that.
So true. Just like Peyton was the MVP for the Saints Super Bowl victory for sure. All right, let's get into some Streamlabs. We only had 2 of them come in. We got 180 y'all watching us right now. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to be done at 2 p.m. PT, so in about 27 minutes. But give us a like right now and send in some support, and I'll read your stuff in here as we go along here over the last few minutes of the show. But the first one is from Phil P. coming talking to us from London. He said, huge love from London to John and Winston. Bad day for me yesterday. My Spurs, his Tottenham Hotspur, they lost to Wolves, for fuck's sake. And the guy that owns Woolwich wins the Super Bowl rather than Joe Cool and the Bengals fairy tale. Sports hurts. Missing the MCU Rerod show, John. Love to the Lady Outlaw. Oh, thanks, Phil. We'll be back this weekend, Phil. We took the weekend off because of Valentine's Day and everything. But we'll be back to talk Eternals. She was struggling through Eternals, but respect to you, Phil.
Oh, you're already caught up to Eternals. Wow.
Oh, yeah. Listen, dude, we took a month and a half off. We haven't come back since the break. She was enjoying the Saturdays off. So We can't do a 3-hour show anymore. It kills her whole Saturday. She's going crazy about it.
So you do a full watch along.
No. We just sit and talk about the movie for 3 hours because people leave comments on stereo, so many comments. So we just kind of stay on and on.
Are you still doing stereo?
Yeah, but I think we might move to YouTube here and just do it on YouTube and then release it as a podcast. So we'll see. Because a lot of people don't want to be on stereo. So I don't know.
It was hot for a moment, and
it was.
And then
when they paid you, it was hot. Coop Cup says, hey, Winston, I just had the greatest single season ever. Sorry I'm not taller when I have nearly 2,500 yards. Sorry I'm not bigger when I'm catching game winners versus the Bucs in the playoffs or in the fourth of the NFC Championship game or game winners in the Super Bowl. Wow, Cooper is salty watching us right now.
He's a little mad. He's a little mad. And I Cooper Cup, I respect your gangster, bro. You had the best season as a receiver. Like you deserve that. 1,000%. You should have been in the conversation for MVP. Let's be real with you. You and Jonathan Taylor. It would have been Derrick Henry in that mix too if he hadn't, gotten hurt. So I give you all your props. But all I'm saying is, you're just looking at times when people just go just like you clearly have earned your keep. Don't ever you tell me to kiss your ass as much as you want. You were a Super Bowl MVP. You were a champion. I receive that. But for me, I remember watching like individual games from Julio. Now that's the sad part about like Julio Jones, bro. All that talent, and he white too. Anyway, no, he's 6'2". I'm 6'2". That's tall for regular humans. But if you're talking about like athletes and specifically receivers, Julio Jones is what, like 6'5"?
Yeah.
Just burn you and then just jump higher than everyone else. I'm saying there is something to be said. If someone can hit all them crisp ass routes and make those moves that they make, but you can also just play jump ball. Like, how many times has D Hopkins had 3 people on him and said, okay, and went and jump balled that right out the air?
Randy Moss.
All I'm saying.
Just had to throw
Randy Moss.
Yeah, Moss used to
T.O. Ocho Cinco. That's all I'm saying. But that does not take away from what you did. You deserve everything, my guy. Good for you.
Even T.O. got up there all the time as well. And Dez, when he was feeling it, used to get up there as well. Give us, hey, ladies and gentlemen, we got 200 of you watching right now. Give us some love. Give us some likes there on this video and leave a comment down below if you're watching later. And send in some Streamlabs. The Streamlabs are right there on the graphic there. They're also in the description of this video. Send in some love for us as we go along here over the next 20-some minutes before we end the show. We got to talk about that halftime show, Winston. That thing was fire. It was a lot of fun. What did you think about it?
It was probably my favorite halftime show of all time. I really enjoyed what Shakira and J-Lo did. I obviously loved what Beyonce did. I love what Bruno Mars did. The Weeknd's was so weird, but I fucked with it too. This was for me because you're talking about music that I grew up on. You're talking about a show that was so well produced. You're talking about a show that included all of that, plus a protest from somebody that people are always trying to question this man, and you can never question it. The NFL has to approve all full halftime shows. They have to see from start to finish what's going to happen. Eminem says, I'm going to kneel. They go, the fuck you are. And then he said, bitch, do you know who the fuck I am? And did it anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is some fire shit, let alone the fact that my favorite part, and this is how I knew it was the best halftime show, that when it was over, the number of these crack-ass crackers that was out here be like, you just gonna have an all-black halftime show? Is that what message you trying to send? You trying to say this is the America you want now? Is that what this is? Okay, well, where's Kid Rock? Right? And I was like, just the amount of hate that came because, again, the only thing that was being said, Los Angeles, above all else, when you talk about music, is most known for their hip hop. Let's just be honest. Nashville, obviously, for all their country and stuff like that. If you go, just depending, you go to New Orleans, jazz. That LA is known for hip hop. And you took somebody, this show was specifically Dr. Dre and his legacy. Oh, yeah. If you noticed, it wasn't really the rest of them were there and performing, obviously, but that's because Dr. Dre's legacy is partially as a performer, but mainly as the visionary that has put so many beats and incredible talent out on that world stage. 6 of the most famous, talented musicians of all time were up there.
Yep.
And they absolutely fucking killed it.
Yep, they did. And I was surprised to see 50 Cent. He wasn't even announced as being there. And when some of these memes, man, for 50 Cent, some people saying he's $1 now. I mean, come on,
dude,
guys.
That was okay.
The
best, bro. The greatest thing that I saw, and I shouldn't be saying this because I do want to be on Power one day, but one of my homies was in the group chat and he goes, "Damn, inflation hit hard. 50 $1 now." Like I was like, bro, you can't do that. Come on, bro. But that's the thing. He laughing all the way to the bank, man, because do you think he gives a damn? No, he's still jacked in a motherfucker, and he is making money off of his shows.
Some of these were great. Some of these were great. Yeah, there he's hanging upside down. He did his thing, man. I can't do that at my age, for God's sakes. Look at him. He's hanging upside down.
Yeah, because what is that? What
upside down?
Yeah. Well, you know what that's from, right? You remember?
Yeah, of course, the video. Of course.
Yeah, from the original video, the him doing the that was the one that got me. Because they did that spoof. They did that spoof in my band. That's Bizarre, part of D12.
Oh yeah.
So they did the spoof of the In the Club video because that Eminem was in that video. So Bizarre pretended to be 50. And that's what he was talking about. I did 2 sit-ups and couldn't get up. So that's like him hanging upside down. I'm like, come on, you can't do that.
JMB saying, I want to see Rocha swing upside down on his YouTube intro while Winston Crip walking onto the screen.
Oh my God, bro. That would be hilarious.
White people
would be here for
crazy.
that.
Right-wing white people were going crazy, Winston. You're right.
Dude, they were so
much joy to watch them melting down. And I knew it. As soon as I saw it, I was like, this is an all-black halftime show. The white red staters are going to go insane, and they did not disappoint. And as soon as they came out starting Crip walking, I was like, oh, they're going to go insane. But it was a great show from top to bottom.
So good.
Snoop looked fantastic, brother. Man.
Mary J.
Oh, yes.
Mary J. I was not expecting her, like, when she started saying, "No more pain." I was like, bitch, stop it. I ain't trying to cry to the halftime show. But, like, bro, I had to explain to Kristen because she knows of Mary J. Blige.
Yeah, right.
But she doesn't know about Mary J. Blige vibe whenever she be dancing, bro. And so I was like, just wait. Mary J. is like the whitest, blackest dancer because she just be vibing.
Yeah.
And she looks like she's always going to be off beat or like fall over, but she always be catching herself. So you're out here thinking, so like black people love her because she's always on beat, but she just vibing. And white people love her because they be like, damn, if I could dance like Mary, then maybe I could like, oh my God. It was just so good. Auntie Mary, man, she just absolutely killed it.
I love Bruce. Bruce says, shout out to Mary J. Blige for the outfit. Thick thighs saves lives, people.
Yes,
that's no lies. That's no lies detected there. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
She was incredible. She was absolutely incredible. It was great to watch them all bringing their stuff. I was a big fan of it. Eminem is in the here with the Streamlab. Eminem donated. He said, I know that on the surface, I looked calm and ready to drop bombs, but I kept on forgetting what I wrote down, and the whole crowd was so loud. Luckily, when I opened my mouth, the words did come out. I refrained from eating mom's spaghetti beforehand. All right. Thank you, Eminem. That's great to know.
I appreciate that. Yo, you know who was having the time of their fucking life during the halftime show? Anderson .Paak, bro. He was so lit to be a part of that incredible fucking crew on the drums for M. Just like he was just smiling and geeking the hell out, bro. Like, oh man.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
It's great to see Dre. There had been some reports about his health, dude. He's going through that divorce. It was great to see him playing the piano and having smiles on his face, man. That was nice to see. And, I said this on my Twitch stream. It's so incredible when you think about the journey of Snoop Dogg. This is Snoop Dogg, who was a guest rapper, and there were a million guest rappers back in the early 90s who never went anywhere, attached himself to Dre, survived that death row madness with Suge Knight, came out the other side, did his time, did his stuff with Tupac, got hooked up with Martha Stewart, and this motherfucker now owns the goddamn record label that he was a guest rapper on. It's incredible.
Bro, I was gonna. How funny would that have been if he had been like Death Row was the label that paid, like if he had hit that line in there, bro, I would have died.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I was so. I was just genuinely so impressed, and it was cool to see. Like I said, this was about Dr. Dre's legacy. Dr. Dre brought us all of these incredible artists, including some of his own bars himself. Hell, someone had me dying where like during still DRE, someone was like that Jay-Z was in the back himself vibing like, yeah, like just out here like because he's doing his own shit, like because he ghost wrote that song for Dre.
Oh, did it really? Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a fucking great song, dude. Yeah. DRE. Fuck, when you hear that ding, ding, ding. You're just like, oh shit, here we go, man. It's almost as good. Not quite, but it's almost gets you out. You see, like Nothing But a G Thing. Nothing But a G Thing is the one, but still DRE is just right behind, man. That line about, they want to know about my next album. My last album was The Chronic. Want to know if he still got it. It's all of that is just so good. Great to see throughout. So a fun halftime show. A good tight Super Bowl in the end. It was good to watch because at least it wasn't a blowout. And I think you're right. If OBJ stays in, maybe it is a blowout because the Rams were moving up and down that field in that first half.
OBJ
weren't putting points on the board necessarily, but they were moving up and down the field.
Yeah. But it was specifically because the opening act was probably double team Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, right.
So then OBJ was just literally It reminded me of Chris Tucker in Rush Hour 2 when he gets to the massage parlor. It's like, oh my goodness. And he was just like, I need her. And her, her too. She go with feet. Like essentially OBJ was like, I'm going to throw the ball. Okay. I'm going to go over here and do this slant and then turn around and then just juke 5 dudes out there. Yeah. Like OBJ was just annihilating them. Yeah. But that's because I guarantee you they were putting a lot of pressure on Kupp. So it just left OBJ open.
Yeah, to be fair, because OBJ had been inconsistent ever since he got to the Rams. Not that he was still a great player. It's just one game he'd show up with like 120 yards, the next game 60 yards. So he didn't seem like be the consistent performer that Cooper Kupp was. So they thought we'll take Cooper up and we'll take our chances with OBJ. But you leave OBJ on single coverage, especially in a big game, OBJ is going to show up. And clearly him and Stafford developed a nice rapport, just like he developed with Cooper Kupp. And so and the team and a lot of Cleveland Browns people, former teammates came out and said, y'all don't understand. OBJ was great in the locker room. He was so helpful of everybody. And remember that shot of OBJ talking to the 49ers player. I forget. He was talking to him on the sideline after they beat him in the championship game saying, you're going to be back. You're going to be back. And he soothed them and he comforted them and everything like that. So the guy's got, for whatever the media is around him, and yes, he's earned some criticism and some reactions from people as fans. In the end, none of us are in that locker room knowing the things he's saying to these players, the way he's trying to uplift people, the way he's trying to kind of make them feel like they're part of the team. We don't know what he's doing behind the scenes. So we got to give it up to players who are willing to say that kind of thing publicly, because that shows you a window into the locker room and the kind of treatment he does with those players. Debo Samuel, right? Debo, that's right. So there we go. All right, well, there we go. Let's finish up the Super Bowl talk there. We got about 10-15 minutes left in the show. If you want to send in your Streamlabs, do it now, because we got about 10-15 minutes left before we got to get on out of here. Let's move on to another big story that happened over the weekend as we wrap up the show here, Winston. The Brooklyn Nets traded James Harden to the Philadelphia 76ers for Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, and Andre Drummond. A lot of people felt this wasn't going to happen. In fact, Brian Windhorst was the only one talking about this as a real possibility. He even scooped Woj, which is really tough to do. Winston, we've been doing this show for a while now, from Collider to here on the Outlaw Nation channel. We had talked about this idea of the Brooklyn Nets coming together with Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Kevin Durant, and there were a lot of combustible elements. And now in the last 13 months, James Harden has got himself out of 2 franchises and walks into a third one here with the Philadelphia or his fourth one actually after Oklahoma City, now into the Philadelphia 76ers. Do you like this situation for both teams? Simmons going to the Nets now, not going to have as much pressure to score and get all the responsibility. You got KD, you got Kyrie whenever he shows up from the vaccine situation. So what do you think here? Do you like the trade? Do you think both teams come out ahead? Or was this something where they traded, or this is going to implode both teams?
I think that it is a little bit more of a win for Brooklyn, because you still have KD and Kyrie and Ben Simmons. Like you said, I agree. You take the pressure off him to have to score, but he can sit out here and cross people all day and then give a dish just to one of these sharpshooters, because you're bringing Seth Curry with you. So he's not his brother, but he's damn sure a good shot.
Good shooter.
So you put all that weaponry around him to take that pressure off of him to do that. I actually really like that for Brooklyn. For the 76ers, if Harden and Embiid do work out, great. Yeah. But that was a dangerous move, because if I remember, there was also some picks involved in this as well.
First round picks as well. Yeah.
There's a lot kind of going on here. So I don't know, but here's the interesting thing about it, because the big thing with Harden on top of it, are those injuries. It was just reported within the last 20-ish minutes that he's not in the All-Star game. He's actually going to be out for a while. The Jared Allen from Cleveland will take his All-Star spot. To that point, did you see Kevin Durant when he had to draft, and it was the last pick was between Gobert and fucking Harden, and he was like, well, we need a big man on the inside, and all of a sudden you just see LeBron be like, no, like just trying to not hold in his laughter. I don't know, man. It depends on the state. I'm happy for James if this provides him something that he needed, but it just depends on if he can actually be healthy, bro. This may have been a bad thing for the 76ers.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see, because I mean, you look at all the positives. Harden and Embiid working together, figuring out their cohesion will be interesting to see. I mean, he's been able to do it. He worked it with Chris Paul. He worked it out with Russell Westbrook. He worked it out with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Remember, they were one toe away from beating those Bucks and possibly putting themselves in a final situation against those Suns down the road. So they're one toe away from that possibility happening. It's amazing how things can change with just a half an inch or a few centimeters there. And that's the difference. So James Harden's got to figure out how to work with Embiid, and we'll see how they make that happen. And he's willing to accept it is Embiid's team. Can he be the better Chris Middleton to Embiid's Giannis? That's what you want to see here going forward. And the thing is, he's a defensive sieve. Like, it's tough to have someone like James Harden. Is there enough defense on the Sixers? They do have a couple of players who play really strong defense, but are they going to be able to keep that defensive unit up when you have someone like James Harden who plays Ole defense in exchange for all the points he can put on the board on the other side of the court? So I wonder how that's going to play out for itself, right? I mean, you need to have that defense.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm honestly not sure. I agree with you. You kind of need that defense to go there to help. You don't want to be playing a whole bunch of crazy shootouts, because you don't have a whole bunch of sharpshooters left over there. I mean, Harden obviously is one of them, but you just got rid of Seth, who I believe from the arc is better than Harden. I mean, Harden obviously scores kind of at will, but from the arc, Seth has got him. And then JMB has a good point of wondering, is Harden off base for wanting out? Or, I think it's fine, because I agree. Kyrie with the Vax situation, is he good or not? So not playing is playing. KD kept getting hurt. So, yeah, all of a sudden he left Houston because he was taught, like, he likes being the guy, but not – he's like, I don't need to be the guy, and I have to do 90% of the work. Like, I would like to be able to get my points – but like relax and have other people help me the fuck out. So
yeah,
man.
I think this helps the Nets more than it does the Sixers. And I think what you said earlier is why, because James Harden has injury issues. He's not getting any younger, for God's sakes. And if they want him, they're going to have to pay him a max deal. He'll be 36 by the time the max deal is done. And there's no way he's going to still be in the condition that he's in now because of all the injuries he's suffering. Whereas Ben Simmons, you got younger by getting Ben Simmons on your team. The guy's a better passer, or the guy's a good passer. You don't lose much in passing with him. You get a better defender. Simmons can defend. He doesn't have to carry the load, so you can work him back into the rotation, scoring 10, 12, 15 points, as long as he's getting like 8 rebounds, got 5 assists, and locking down their top scorer on the other team. You've got a great situation. And you got Curry feeding off the double teams from KD, Kyrie, whenever he can show up doing his thing. So the Nets may have found the right solution for themselves. And shout out to Daryl Morey for waiting this thing out until he had the right situation. And you're right. He got himself a couple of picks as well in the first round picks as well in the process. So not a bad deal for them. And I think they're going to come out winners in this. I just think Philadelphia is not a great situation on so many levels. And I don't see Embiid like Giannis. I see Embiid as a guy who wants to win, but also wants to blame everybody when he doesn't. And I think that kind of attitude can be corrosive. And there's already reports that Doc Rivers may be on his way out if they don't do well in the playoffs, and that Daryl Moore is going to bring in D'Antoni to coach the team next year. That's crazy.
Mike D'Antoni, man, that's a name I haven't heard in a minute. Holy crap, Mike D'Antoni. That's the thing. I still think Doc Rivers is a good coach, but homie is starting to look a little bit like Mike McCarthy, where it's like you were riding off of one title.
Yep.
You obviously made it to another. Like the difference here, other than McCarthy, is he's at least made it to another dance.
Yeah.
With Boston, he got to 2 and just lost it to Kobe. Willing himself to his 5th ring.
Yeah.
And Meta World Peace all of a sudden shooting threes. No, don't do it. Oh my God, he made it. Like, and what do you say? Say Queensbridge. Yeah. Like, that whole, but he is kind of run out of the clout that one title brings. And he has got, like, that's why he ended up being gone from the Clippers. Yeah. And now he's over here and he's got to figure it out, man.
I think he's been living off that. I agree with you. He's been living off that Celtics team. Could have had a second ring, as you said, but he's been living off that one season. What was the term? Mbunte, whatever they said there, to get themselves all motivated, the African word they used to kind of get themselves squared away. But it's been a long time since he's been really in contention for a finals victory. So to me, he's a good coach when he's like a version of Phil Jackson. He's a great coach when you give him good players. And he's an okay coach with decent players, and he's a terrible coach with bad players. And so I think that's what you've got in Doc Rivers. And I don't know if he's the guy that's going to get you over the hump, to be honest with you.
Wait a minute. Did you just say
Ubuntu,
that Did you just say Doc Rivers coaches up or down to whatever his opponent is? So same way that the Cowboys have a tendency to play down to their opponent or whatever, you're saying the same thing about Doc Rivers and his coaching. If you suck ass, he's like, I don't even know what the fuck to do with your ass. I guess run suicides. Like,
I guess I can't coach this. This I can't learn. Matt Thomas out here promoting his Cavaliers, saying the Cavaliers ultimately won the OG Harden deal. They got the 2 best players out of that deal, not named Harden, right? Jared Allen and Kirsten and are the shock of the NBA. Give us our flowers. Like everything in Cleveland, I'll give you your flowers when you win a title or get to a final.
Earn them. You remember how much you want to give my Browns? They credit my Browns out here, blah blah blah, and then you got beat by what was his name again over in Kansas City last year? The backup quarterback.
Oh God. Oh, I can't remember right, but
that's how bad it is.
Chad Henne.
That's my point. That's how bad it is. Couldn't even remember Chad Henne's name. So they were the Browns, baby, and then you got beat by Chad Henne. And then this year you decided to completely self-destruct all over again. And we go back and forth the OBJ thing, and I agree he did not handle. I agree with you. He did not handle his exit that great.
Yeah.
But y'all, real talk. Y'all, like, I will give y'all your credit when LeBron was there, but a lot of that was LeBron kind of playing player GM and player coach and bringing in certain elements and knowing what would work to, like, get it going. And that willed you to not only a ring, but to a number of finals appearances. I don't trust any of the Cleveland organizations. They have not given me enough faith to believe that I can trust them.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for you that you're happy.
Yeah.
But I ain't giving you no damn flowers until you get crowned the queen of the ball, and then I will walk up and put it on your head with your sash and your flowers, dog. Like, come on.
And listen, you came down from 3-1 to win that series. An incredible accomplishment, but you were down 3-1, and you were one ball punch from Draymond Green of going out and never winning the finals with LeBron as your primary playmaker. So, I mean, for all that talk, you could have gotten swept out 3 times, or not swept out, but beaten 3 times by the Golden State Warriors 3 years in a row there. So, you got there, you got that chip. You can't disagree with that. But this Cavaliers team is still unproven, and so is Bernie Bickerstaff Jr. in the playoffs. So we're going to see how they do That being said, they're underdogs, so I'm rooting for them in a way. Yeah.
You know what, Rocha? I'll put it to you this way.
Yeah.
For the number of people that love to call me and my Cowboys like obsession delusional, because it'd be like, cool, you did whatever in the regular season, but then you got to the playoffs and you shat the bed. If the Cleveland Cavaliers genuinely start going on this run again, I will give them their due. But I need to – you got to prove it. The same way the Cowboys needed to prove it, and they didn't really have a signature win, honestly.
Yeah.
Like they had maybe the Chargers, if you want to say that week 2.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe. Didn't really have a signature win, and then got into the playoffs and lost that shit.
Yeah.
Like, played like ass all game and then decided at the last second to try and make a surge on the Niners. So, like, same thing. You got to prove it to me when it really matters.
Yeah.
Not regular season games that can ultimately just blow up in your face. Hell, the Mavs were the number 1 seed and lost to the goddamn 8 seed Warriors. I will never forget that shit.
Yeah.
Like, God damn it.
Yeah, I remember. That was rough. Vegetable Tube donated here as we're wrapping up the show. He says, love your show. Los Angeles, the city of championships. Lakers, Dodgers, Rams. Well, certainly in recent history, you can say that.
Dude, I'm hoping for a super parade. Like, yo, we still haven't got the parades for the Lakers or the Dodgers.
Good point.
Instead of making 3 super spreader events, just do 1 mega super spreader event. Because only a certain type of people are going to go anyway. Just have it all at once. And how dope would it be to see LeBron kicking it with Kershaw, kicking it with Aaron Donald, and they all like, we out here winning, baby.
I'm down. If people get let that all out in 1 super spreader event. Absolutely, for sure.
Look, man, it wasn't a mass to be seen at SoFi last night, all right?
There wasn't. But I think everybody's vaxxed. LA is like 85% vaxxed. So, I mean, I don't feel that negatively about that kind of situation because I think a lot of people are vaxxed and they want to be vaxxed in LA. And so they go to these games and they don't wear the mask because they're vaxxed. And so I get it, but I also don't think it's that big of a deal, you know. And so
but my only beef is because LA County had made the decision, we're not lifting the mask mandate.
True.
A lot of other people are, and people in the state are allowed to, but we're not going to do it. But then you're going to sit there and let the entirety of a goddamn stadium not have masks on?
It's true.
Like, just pick a lane. Either you're doing it or you're not doing it. That's all I want to know.
You're not wrong there. All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching us live here on the Outlaw Nation channel on Game Time. You guys are incredible. Thanks for the Streamlabs. We appreciate it. I've got 175 of you still hanging out with us today. Please remember to hit a like button as we're wrapping up. We appreciate it, man. If you're watching later, a lot of you do, leave a comment down below and share the video on your social media so that people know that Game Time is not happening as consistently as before, because it all just depends on sports news. And I've got a lot of stuff going on right now. So it's about balancing and getting people to come on the show, which is always kind of a chore because everyone's busy. Everyone great is busy, and that's a good thing. So just know, but it's still going to keep going in some form and some way, depending on sports stories. But I want to thank my man, Winston A. Marshall, for joining me yet again for a fun conversation. Winston, where can they find you and everything going on, my man?
Yeah, you can find me at everywhere the Swaggy Blurs are sold: Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch. I just finished if you aren't familiar, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I stream from 10 to noon. And Mondays, Motivation Monday, we set our intentions for the week. So a lot of people came through, set intentions for what they want to do. And we go through an action plan of how to set that up and how to go about, making that happen. So a lot of fun over there. Blurs in the Hood Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6 p.m. Pacific. We're doing the rewatches for Batman on the Big Thing on Fridays with Christian and Coy. All of that, and I think that just about covers it. If there's other stuff coming on, I'll be sure to let you know. There's some Rotten Tomato stuff coming up soon. I'll tweet about that. But yeah, got much love for each and every one of you. Have a wonderful and healthy Valentine's Day and week at large.
Respect. There you go. Yeah. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody who celebrates it. And if you don't celebrate it, happy Monday. Hope you have a good rest of your day there and enjoy yourself. Follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram and also on TikTok. If we start posting stuff there. Twitch, the Outlaw Nation. Y'all know I've been doing those watch-alongs. There's more to come. Certainly some movie watch-alongs and sports watch-alongs as well. John and Wendy's show there live Fridays at 3 p.m. PT. And on my other podcast, The Top 10, The Cinephiles, and The Geek Buddies, all out there for you to enjoy. We're doing an early Geek Buddies episode tomorrow, talking the Super Bowl trailers and giving a tribute to Ivan Reitman. And then on Thursday, we're going to be doing a live show or a pre-recorded show for the finale of Peacemaker. So there you go. Come and join me on the Hollywood Critics Association YouTube page in about a little bit under an hour. We're going to be talking Bel Air, the first 3 episodes of Bel Air that dropped on NBC streaming service Peacock. All right, that's it for me. You guys are awesome. We love you madly. Thanks for taking the time, and we'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode here of Game Time. Peace.